Hi guys, and a very warm welcome to this video series on Lander Composer. My name is Larry Holcomb, aka Get to Know, and I'm here to deliver this video series with Groove 3. So I've covered a few of these kinds of tools, these kind of AI-based composition tools. I'm thinking Captain Chords from Mixed in Key, also Scalar 3 and Scalar 2 before that. Now Lander Composer, I would say, is a kind of simplified, kind of more stripped down version of those kinds of tools. So it's definitely on the simpler end of things, but absolutely fantastic for just getting ideas together quickly. So at its core, it's an AI-based assistive tool for music composition. So what I mean by that is it helps people generate chord progressions, and from that chord progression, it's going to generate MIDI performances, bass lines, arpeggios, melodies, things like that. And it integrates within your DAW, so it exists within, in this case, Logic or whichever DAW you are using. So it's there to act like a collaborator, especially for people that struggle a bit with the music theory side of things. You know, if you're a DJ producer, maybe you're very strong on the production and the mixing side of things, the beats and things like that, but you struggle a little bit with creating a motive, kind of passages and chords and melodies. This could be a fantastic tool to allow you to kind of make up for some of that lack of knowledge. So the main features of the plugin include chord generation. You can see here there's a chord already set up as soon as we load the plugin in. And we can do that based on a chosen key or a scale. We can generate MIDI performances for chords, melodies, bass lines, arpeggios. And we can also structure kind of song arrangements using these scenes here. You can also fine-tune the composition, so you can fine-tune your chord progressions and your melodies. You can choose from different sounds as well. It syncs with the DAW, so we can use it within the DAW. You can play and stop using your DAW's transport controls. And we also have a basic kind of piano roll to work with as well. So if we double-click on our parts here, we can actually move this around as you would do a traditional piano roll. You can also undo from here too. All we need to do is close to come out of that piano roll view. And once we're happy with what we've got, we can very easily drag and drop MIDI into our DAW for further tweaking. And of course, you can use whatever other plugin you want to create the sound. Okay, so that's just an introduction to what this plugin is all about and how it works. Let's talk a little bit about the interface. Okay, so we have this kind of header area up here, which is where we have our transport controls. Go back to the beginning, play, stop. Now we've got DAW sync switched on here. And if we switch that off, that means we can actually play from within the plugin itself. I'm always going to have that switched on because I find that if I use any of these kind of plugins with their own transport, I'm so used to pressing play within my DAW using, in this case, spacebar, that I'll just find myself constantly clicking spacebar and the transport going and the plugin's not actually doing anything. So I'd always have that switched on. So we have an output level here and undo, redo, and then a settings menu here too. And then we have the main window, which is where we can create our composition. So that's going to be separated out into scenes, which could be like song structures essentially. And the tracks will stack up. So if we add a new track, let's say we add in some bass, you see that stacks up underneath. Now across to the right here, we have settings for each one of our tracks. You can see that there. So if I click on chord, it's giving us chord settings. Click on bass, it's giving us bass settings. So that's going to change depending on what we have selected in the main window here. Okay, so that's going to be our first video looking at Lander Composer. So what have we learned? We know that this is an assistive chord generation plugin, meaning that it will create chord progressions for you using AI. Now, once it's created a chord progression, we can generate extra basses, melodies, extra chord parts, arpeggios by adding extra tracks, and they're all going to be following our main chord progression here. These are separated out into scenes, so these can be used to create, a verse, a chorus, for example. And as we click on each one of our tracks, this menu here will change to give us the settings for that individual track. We have our transport controls up here. We can control within the plugin, or we can use DAW sync, which means you'll be using whatever your DAW uses for play, stop, go back to the beginning, etc. And as we know, the plugin is separated into this kind of header area, this main composition area here, and then the track settings across to the right. Now, if we double click on any one of our parts here, we can actually go through and edit the MIDI. We can drag MIDI in once we're happy with what we've got. Let me just close that down by clicking on the close button there. Okay, so that's going to be our introduction to this video series. We're going to dive in and have a look at creating a chord progression in the next video. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.